This project started like most projects do. Either I see a need for something, much like a fix, or the good idea fairy comes along and puts an idea in my head. To start, I had to rip everything out of the bathroom. The vanity was old and falling apart. The floor was peeling up. The seam between the floor and the bathtub was gone, and I was convinced that there was a significant amount of water damage underneath the tub. The bathtub was a old cast iron tub, original to the house. I didn't spare or try and save any of the tile or anything related to the tub. I don't know why, but apparently I only own a 3-pound sledgehammer, which worked out beautiful for taking out the tile and walls. However, a 3-pound sledgehammer does little to nothing to a cast iron tub. I have really nice neighbors. I went over, asked them for the biggest hammer they could possibly have. I was able to find a 7-pound sledgehammer, I think. And within 30 minutes, I took out all my aggression on this tub. Finally, I got the tub out. I was able to see what the water damage was. And initially looking at it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. However, after removing the subfloor, I was able to see that it soaked in quite a lot into the plywood beneath it and pretty much all the way around the bathroom. So the best solution that I could come up with was simply replacing the entire floor. Cutting out the floor as close as I could to the 2x4s, putting in extra bracing, and putting a whole new plywood floor down was surprisingly time consuming. However, once that was done, I was able to focus on getting a new bathtub in. I was able to find this tub on Facebook Marketplace for $50. I put some towels down on the floor to keep the top of the tub from getting scraped up. I put the feet on the tub. This was a fiberglass tub. It probably took me 45 minutes to an hour of up and down and trying to twist the legs and move it in the right spot, checking level in all different directions. I wanted to keep the tub water as warm as possible for as long as possible, and I had read things that said just throw some insulation in around the tub. I thought this was an absolutely brilliant idea. Very simple, very effective. I got some fiberglass insulation, and I shoved it in and around the tub. In retrospect, I probably should have done some of this before putting the tub in. Once that was all in, I framed up a little wall for the front of the tub. once that was all put together, I was only working on the plywood floor, and I needed to put a subfloor in. I just brought it in and laid it down. It was a little tricky getting this lined up for the toilet flange because I didn't replace the toilet flange. I kept it there and I took out the floor around it. I didn't have a whole lot of room to cut one out and then put a new one in. So I ended up cutting a square around where the flange was and then taking that square and measuring out the diameter of the pipe. I cut the square in half and then cut out the two circles or half circles and then put that piece back in. It always seems like this room has been dirty. No matter how many times I go in there and clean it, scrub the walls, scrub everything down, it'll smell like bleach. It just feels dirty. They had an old almond colored paint in the whole house, and as I've been renovating the house, I've been changing it to just bright white, just right out of the can, not tinted, not changed at all. I was working on this project while my family was away on a vacation because this is the bathroom that my children use. We figured it would probably be a smart idea to have them out of the house. That way I'm not working with them wanting to use the bathroom and getting in the way. I ended up continuing the floor that I had from the hallway into this room. I had always had a plan to do this. When I initially put the flooring in the hallway, I made sure to keep the edge of the tongue and groove right at the doorway, keep it in good condition, because I knew full well that I was going to be continuing this flooring into the bathroom. After getting the flooring in, I was super eager to get as much of it done as possible so that my kids could use it, just have it be functional. Next came a countertop. I have poured epoxy countertops in the past. I completely redid my kitchen countertops and did epoxy for that because I can add kind of the look I want with epoxy. It was a no-brainer for this. It was a quick solution. It was the most cost-effective solution. I think after the MDF and the epoxy and the paint, I was in maybe $100 for the countertop. I brought it into the bathroom, flipped it over, and put the undermount sink on it. I traced out where the sink was going to go, and following the sink's instructions, I put the brackets in to support the weight of the sink. Because I wanted this bathroom to be cost effective, I shied away from Curdy. I had done that in my other bathroom, and the Curdy by itself for the shower, for a very small shower, was about $1,000. This wasn't as extensive as that, but it still would have increased the cost significantly. And so instead of using Curdy, I opted for Aqua Guard, I think. It dries as a rubber substance, completely waterproof. I used an entire bucket of this on the walls, and then for the seams, per the instructions of the Aqua Guard bucket, they have this fabric tape, much like Curdy, that you put in the corners and treat it kind of like mudding and taping drywall. Then it was time to tile the shower. Previously, when I've done vertical tile work, gravity has something to say about it, and it never turns out straight. Well, this time I decided to try and mitigate that as much as possible. I ended up screwing a board so that the top of the board was at the top of the first layer of tile. And then I used that to support the weight of the rest of the tiles above it. And then it was just a process of putting the tile up. Once the mortar had dried on the tile, I went around and broke off the spacers, which was one of the most enjoyable things about this entire build. And then I just went back and put grout. I had to wait to use the shower after the grout for about 72 hours. And then after that, I put a grout sealer on all the grout seams. So it was about another week after my family had gotten home before the shower even became somewhat usable. Looking at it now, I'm extremely happy with how it turned out. It looks way better than the other shower I've done. very pleased with the overall results of this bathroom. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.